Paul, the Hall of Fame, it's a sign, I suppose, that time is moving on, but what a time you had as an Ireland player.
Oh, incredible. I think I played at the best possible time for in Irish football. I think I made my debut when it was in '85 under own hand, and I was delighted at that time to get a chance to play for Ireland, because there was so many absolutely fantastic centre halves here at the moment at that time. There was Mick, there was Kevin, there was Dave O'Leary, there was Mark Marenson, probably the best of a lot of them. And I used to think, well, I'm never getting in that team. I'm never getting in that team. So it was annoying, because I was playing for Manchester United at the time, and I was thinking, no matter how well I play, I don't think I can get past that foursome. So I think then in '85 I came over to play. Owen asked me over to play in '85, and ironically Mark got injured very early on in that game, I believe, and I went on against the Italians, of course, the world champions. So.
And Dalymount Park was packed literally to the rafters. They were on the side of the pitch.
They were on the roof as well. They were on the roof of these stands, and I was thinking, oh my God, if that goes through, where are they going to go? But it's typically Irish. They just wanted to see the game. They were going to do anything to see the game. So, and I think we got beaten. I think Gary Waddock scored the second goal, our first goal, the third goal. But they beat us 2-0 or 2-1, and it was the night of my life, because I got on early. I got to mix with the lads. I got to chase some Italians down, but to no avail. But it was great for me to just. That was my first introduction into the Irish team, and it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
What a journey you went on to have. I mean, '88 in Germany, 1990 in Italy, '94 in America. Incredible.
Yeah, and to be honest, I didn't believe that's the sort of journey I'd have. I was just so thrilled to have worn the Irish jersey once, and I thought, if this is it for me, then it's been heaven anyway. So I eventually I was getting called back, and I was getting called back by Owen, and I was getting put in different positions sometimes, and it was kind of strange, but I loved every time I got called back. It was brilliant, because there were a great bunch of lads that were there. The Ronnie Whelans and I don't think I'd met Liam Brady and people like that. So to actually be mixing with him and shaking hands and playing five-a-sides against him and this sort of thing, and it was just incredible.
You had two very special relationships during your international career. One was with Jack, which we'll come back to in a second. But the rapport you had with the Ireland fans, and to this day, they still idolise Paul McGrath. I mean, that was an incredible relationship that built up over the years.
And how, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because how do I explain this? I think they knew every time I'd show up and I'd turn out on the pitch, I would give 110%, and sometimes I think they knew if I wasn't, if I was misbehaving or something, which some of the papers, because a lot of the papers, as you know, used to help us out a little bit and try and keep a lot of the bad stuff away. But later on in life, I think that some of the papers weren't as kind, put it that way. But I always tried to do my best, and if it was named in the team, I would try and give it 110%, and the Irish people seemed to take to that, and I loved when there was a full house, and when we were on our game, we were a very, very hard team to beat. So I loved being involved in that.
And that relationship with the fans is still to this day. I mean, it's still rock solid.
Honestly, it's incredible. Like that, I'm walking around Crumlin, I walk around Wexford where I live and stuff like that. People still come up and want photographs and ask you questions about this, that, and the other. Who do you think was better? Who did this, that, and the other? And I love it. That's the only thing I know about football, really. But I love having chats with people and and just enjoying myself. But and I am amazed by that, because I was a little bit of a rogue at one stage, well, probably a bigger stage than that of my career. So yeah, I went through spells where I wasn't as maybe good a professional as I should have been.
But look at the performance as well. I mean, look back, because one of the things in lockdown was we saw so much of the past back on our television screens, and then when Jack died, there were so many great memories and so many great matches, and you know, Italy in 1994 in the Giant Stadium in New York. I mean, that was a sensational performance for me.
Yeah, but well, to be honest, it was from a team. It wasn't from, because if you look around at 8 of those other lads, I would have said to them that was their best performance in an Irish jersey, because that was the Italians we were up against. Really, when you think about it, that was the Italians. So people, and because I think there was something where I blocked the 3 things, and one at the other ahead of the ball or something. And people kind of thought, I thought from that people kind of made you the hero automatically.
Albertini, Dino Baggio, and in goes Roberto Baggio. McGrath's head got there. Dino Baggio once more. Again it's McGrath. And now Baggio once again. Signori, Baggio. And once more Paul McGrath, the man to the rest.
Now I watched Dennis Irwin sliding balls out. I watched Terry Phelan running up and down the pitch. I watched Roy Keane kicking balls into touch. I watched Stan running up and down. Andy Townsend keeping the ball. John Sheridan in particular, who never seems to get a mention, was holding the ball up and waiting for people to come into play. And so he was the smartest kind of player on the pitch. But we had a really good team. And at the end of it, people were starting to say to me, well, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, absolutely. And I was thinking, hang on, I wasn't the one who slid out and they did some of these things. And Phil Babb next to me as well, by the way, slid in, took the ball out. So, you know, we played as a team that night, and I was in shock when the final whistle went, and I suddenly realised, Jesus, it's over. We've beaten them. It's a shock to the system, because they're our class outfit.
We issued a statement on the day that Jack's death was announced for you, and you were visibly and mostly upset. I mean, Jack was such a part of your life, wasn't he?
My phone started ringing all over the place, and normally I don't get too many calls in the morning in particular. And I suddenly got an awful weird feeling that it was Jack, and then when a friend of mine rang, and I just said, yeah, I know, it's Jack, isn't it? Yeah, and they said, yeah, and I just kind of did what I'd normally do. You know, I just went, and put the phone down and just walked around the house, and just, you know, I was just thinking so many times that I bumped into him when I wasn't so well or something, and the Turkish game came flooding back, and he came up to my room afterwards and won 5-0. And he sat in the end of my bed, and I was sweating, like all the drink was coming out and all this sort of thing. And he just sat, and he just tapped me down, and he said, I apologise, he says. And he's apologising to me for walking out on him. He says, I didn't realise how hard you had it. Like I'd got the, you know, so, and I just thought, he did that for me loads and loads of times, had me back loads and loads of times. He was a really, really soft human being. Everyone talks to me about how he's the fisherman, he's dragging, you know, this off beaches, you know, whales off beaches and all this sort of thing. But he was just such a kind human being to me, and I'll never forget him for sticking with me.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to give him the public send-off that we wanted to, I'm sure, as a nation, but he's always going to have a very special place in the hearts of this country, isn't he?
Oh, of course, without a doubt. Like, he won't be forgotten, that's for sure. And Pat and Peter and John, we and all his family over there. I saw Emma, one of his grandkids, chatting, and I just think they all have so much respect for him, because he dossed around with them all. He played with them all. He played with a lot of us. Like, you know, they won't be getting a drink today. They won't be getting off this bus today. You know, and all of a sudden Jackie and we're in Paddy Cullen's pub or whatever.
And he was brilliant with your kids as well, wasn't he?
Oh, he was brilliant with my children. He used to just walk them down. We'd be sitting on the beach why we were letting the beach, like, I don't know. But and he just said to me, "Come on down here, but there's crabs down here. Come down here." So he'd walk them all off and they'd be paddling just next to him. But he loved kids. He loved kids, and he like showing them little tricks that he used to do and stuff like that. And they loved him as well, because they got away with murder, like when they were with him. As soon as they came back to me, it was a different story. But yeah, he loved the kids, and but I think he genuinely loved the lads. He loved. I think he even loved letting them out for a night. You know, he loved the fact that he could trust them enough to say, "Go on, go have your fun." Now, at that stage, I was under lock and key. At that stage, I was basically. But everyone else, he let them out, and I think that's what the lads really appreciate about him. That he treated them like, you know, they're going out. They're just going to go to a bar, have a laugh, and they will all come back. But in my view, in my case, I would have loved to go out with them, but I understood at that stage that he was doing the right thing for me.
What does an award like a Hall of Fame, what does that mean for you now at this stage in your life, looking back at your playing career?
Oh, it's tremendous. It's unbelievable, and to have Charlie O'Leary here at the same time is just. I was saying that when I heard he was getting the Merit Award, and I just thought they're doing this on purpose. They're making. I have to go. I have to collect this. I love the man, you know, him, McBurn, and all the staff, the people who made this possible for me. They're two of the most iconic, because, you know, without them it doesn't work. Without Charlie's making things funny around the other lads, it doesn't work. So I was delighted to come today. I was thrilled. I was just delighted to see Charlie and John, because it everyone talks about everyone else and the bigger names, and to get it from Niall, of course, is obviously huge, as a pal and a friend over the years as well. But he's one of those, whatever way Ireland seemed to make it, they made it like a family, really like a family, and family to me is it honestly does mean a lot, because I might not have had the most perfect kind of family as you know, as a growing up sort of thing. But these boys definitely made up for it in my playing career.
Paul,
the Irish crew.
You're in the International Hall of Fame. Congratulations! It's well deserved.
Thanks so much, Carol. And it's lovely to see you.
Here's to some night we get a proper celebration, a proper dinner, and we get you up on the stage. And well, on behalf of everybody who's followed Ireland over the years, I'm sure I'd say thank you for everything that you did for the Irish team.
Oh well, thank you. It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure.